A book I really enjoyed reading was Lawrence Stern's, what's it called? The Life and Opinions of Tristram Shandy, Gentleman. It's an absolute hoot. It is brilliant and full of humanity. And when I finished it, I felt real regret that he'd written nothing else much. I mean, there is another thing which isn't so good. I mean, I wished he'd written a dozen of books like this because it just filled me with joy. And I'd like to read a little bit. I mean, he just revels in the ridiculous. And the example I want to take is talking about a chair with two knobs on it. And he introduces this chair, and then there's a great digression which goes all about the clergy and goodness knows what. And then he comes back to talking about this chair. And so I'll just read you this passage. And so he's talking about something in which he thinks there is wit and judgment. And he says, here stands wit, and there stands judgment close behind it, just like the two knobs I'm speaking of, upon the back of this self-same chair on which I'm sitting. You see, they are the highest and most ornamental parts of its frame, just as wit and judgment are of ours. And like them too, indubitably, both made and fitted to go together, in order, as we say in all such cases of duplicated embellishments, to answer one another. Now, for the sake of an experiment and for the clearer illustrating of this matter, let us for a moment take off one of these two curious ornaments, I care not which, from the point or pinnacle of the chair it now stands on. Nay, don't laugh at it, but did you ever see in the whole course of your lives such a ridiculous business as this has made of it? Why, 'tis as miserable a sight as a sow with one ear, because he's talking about the chair having taken one knob off it. And there is just as much sense and symmetry in the one as in the other. Do, pray, get off your seats, only to take a view of it. Now, would any man who valued his character a straw have turned a piece of work out of his hand in such a condition? Nay, lay your hands upon your hearts and answer this plain question, whether this one single knob, which now stands here like a blockhead by itself, can serve any purpose on earth, but to put one in mind of the want of the other knob. And let me further ask, in case the chair was your own, if you would not in your conscience think rather than be as it is, that it would be 10 times better without any knob at all. Now, these two knobs, or top ornaments of the mind of man, which crown the whole entablature, he's talking about wit and judgment, being, as I said, wit and judgment, which of all others, as I've proved it, are the most needful, the most prized, the most calamitous to be without, and consequently the hardest to come at. For all these reasons put together, there is not a mortal among us so destitute of a love of good fame or feeding, or so ignorant of what will do him good therein, who does not wish and steadfastly resolve in his own mind to be, or to be thought at least, master of the one or the other, and indeed of both of them, if the thing seems any way feasible or likely to be brought to pass.